Good after evening. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be with you this week for our Victory Hour of Power. I'm going to give Facebook and all social media platforms an opportunity to let us know that our friends and our families and our followers, opportunity to let them know that we are on. And if you are joining with me, please say hello so that I can know that you are here. We are having our Victory Hour of Power virtual experience today. Good evening, Overseer. It is so great. I'm so glad to be back in the great state of Texas, but we had a great time in South Carolina um, at TSA where we received our overseer. But if you're joining with us, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to begin the announcements. So if you are watching the replay, and I think you should watch the replay, just fast forward to about, let's see, 2 or 3 minutes, and it shouldn't take me that long to get through the announcements. But we have some great and exciting things. Hello, here at VLCM. Don't forget on March 14th, which is this Saturday, our HIT team will be serving our homeless population, having outreach. The unhoused population will be starting at our church, 900 Round Rock Avenue. And we will make sure that you are versed to be able to evangelize the unhoused community with various donations. So meet us at the church this Saturday to be a part of our homeless initiative team. Also, Manifest Sunday is this Sunday. We're honoring our men. So all men, all male species, your cousins, your uncles, your brother, your father, your grandfather, all of those, please bring them into worship service this Sunday. We'll have a special guest, Pastor Eric Jones. I'm excited. He always wrecks the house when he comes. I love that we have local people that we can call on to pour into us. 1107, all men, Manifest Sunday. And after service, a light lunch will be provided to those who are in attendance. Amen. Also, Good Friday, Sunday, please mark your calendars for April 3rd. We're having a Good Friday deliverance service, and we will have special guest Prophet Dion Brown, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. He is always a blessing to VLCM, and I look forward to amazing time of deliverance on April 3rd at 7 p.m. for our Good Friday service. Amen. And that same weekend on Sunday, April 5th, we will be celebrating Resurrection or Easter Sunday. Go ahead and get your good Easter outfits ready. Plan with your family and your friends. Coordinate well because Easter Sunday is coming April 5th. Prepare to join us. Also, if you would like to be a part of our mass choir, rehearsals are every Thursday at 7 p.m. Email the church if you have not been in contact with the a minister of music or Andre if you want to play an instrument, all those kinds of things. Our mass choir will be having rehearsals every Thursday at 7 p.m. Also, this is our first fruit season. I don't want you to be left out. We're asking for 50 people giving $900. We're asking 500 people to partner with us. If you're online, partner with us. Or ask friends and families to sow $90. We want to make sure that we give into first fruits, our first of what we receive. God is honoring our first fruits. And thank you to everyone who has sacrificed. Thank you to those who have divided up their first fruits. Thank you to those who are continuing to commit in their heart to sow into VLCM's good ground for first fruit season. Amen. All right. Listen, I thoroughly enjoy when we get an opportunity to pour in this manner. And what I mean by that is every year VLCM takes opportunity to pour back for financial for us to have a financial mindset, for us to get our budgets together, for us to have be a little bit more savvy what God has blessed us with. Every increase, every dollar God has blessed us with financially. VLCM takes opportunity to pour into us so that we know a little bit more about how to manage what God has blessed us with on the earth. And so today it is my pleasure, it is my opportunity to tell you about money manners. I dare you to declare in the chat, money is headed my way. I dare you to declare. I dare you to believe it. I dare you to just say that. I dare you to make this your prayer. I dare you to actually believe that money is headed your way. Sometimes we don't have things because we don't say them. Sometimes we're just too afraid to say what it is. Money is headed my way. There is nothing that heaven has that I don't have the opportunity to partake in. And so, because heaven is not lacking resources, I'm not lacking resources. Believe it. Believe it for you. Believe it for your family. Believe it for those who you are connected to and connected with. I dare you to declare, if you haven't already, money is headed my way. That means God has to find a way to bless you financially, whether that's a windfall, whether it's annuities and surprises, whether it's increase on your job, whether your car note went down, your mortgage went down, you found an unexpected check in the mail. Money is headed your way. Why? Because you declared it over your life tonight. So I'm going to look for the money. I'm going to expect it. I'm going to actually say, okay, God, where is the money that is headed my way? And I believe that God is going to give us strategy. But guess what, y'all? I have a special guest that is going to help us find the money that is headed our way. And so I want to take this opportunity right now to introduce our special guest for tonight, Elder Nicole Huckleberry. Yay! If we were in church, everybody would stand up and give you an ovation, give you an applause, because we know that when we talk to you, we get some good nuggets. Thank you for joining me.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Listen, y'all, I had to kind of bribe her, but not really.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. So she is more nervous than I could ever be. I'm sure I can feel it. But when she get in her element, you won't even be able to tell that she's nervous. So I want y'all to make sure that you share tonight's words of wisdom. Today I was in one of the Facebook groups, and I'm sure you saw it, Elder Nicole. One of the I think it was on Black Mamas or something like that, and one of the ladies was saying, are there any financial people in our sphere? Are there any people who know about money? There are some people who just don't know how to do a budget. There are some people who just don't know how to um manage their finances. There are millionaires who don't know how to manage what God has given them. And so tonight I'm going to banter with Elder Nicole. You guys will be able to pick our brains and ask us questions, but we want to make sure that you are left today knowing more about how to be financial savvy than you were before you jumped on. And I know you want to hear about angels and you want to hear about demons and you want to hear about all the things, but tonight heaven wants you to hear about how to manage your money. And so I'm going to give it to you. You want to give the basis of your scripture tonight on
Yes.
how you rule your household and your finances?
Yes. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. So I will start with the scripture with from Deuteronomy 8 and 18. And it says God gives power to get wealth. And so with that, I believe that God, He gives us the power, and we have to be able to manage and go out and steward it well, and what He gives us. Um, Money is a tool for stewardship, not just to survive. And a lot of us are just trying to survive. But if we steward what God has given us well, even the little bit, you don't have to have a whole bunch of money to steward well. But if you steward what He's given you, and then also God, God cares about how we manage our resources, and and how we take care of what He has given us, to make sure that we're managing it well.
Amen. I believe the Bible says um that if we do well with the little, that he'll give us a lot. And I want to be found doing good with the little bit that I have so that he can trust me. To whom much is given, much is required. And so I want to be able to be found doing well with the little that he's given. I don't want to be like the ladies or the parable of the talents. I don't want to hide my talent. I don't want to bury it. I want to be able to multiply it. And so that I can show God, hey, I did well with what you have given me. I'm trying to share because I believe tonight's teaching is going to be so good. I'm I'm gonna copy it and I'm gonna share it in a few places. And I believe that you guys will see what I have been saying. Today's live is going to be life changing. Why? Because I'm going to pull every ounce of knowledge out of Elder Nicole that she didn't even see coming. I'm going to pull it all out of her so that she'll be able to give us nuggets that she didn't even know she was going to release. All right. So I want us to know another scripture. Luke chapter 16 verse 10 says, whoever is faithful in little will be faithful in much. And so tonight we're going to teach us how to be faithful. A few years ago, um there was this tax course that was being given online. Do you remember? And
Mm-hmm.
um I said, you got to take it with me. You got to take it with me. I didn't want to take the tax course by myself. And she took the tax course. And I think that is when she fell in love with something that she never knew she would fall in love with. That is when she realized, I like tax law. I like finding ways to find money for people that they never thought they would have been able to find. So today, like Elder Nicole said, money is a tool. It's not just money is not just for survival. It's a tool to help us have things. It's a tool to help us navigate life. It's a tool to help us have balance. It's a tool to help open doors for us. If we if we manage our money well, there's so many doors that we can be a part of. Some people are not being able to go and do and have because of they're just not good with the tools. In order for me to have a garden, there's some tools for me to be. Now I can have a garden without tools, but in order for me to have a better garden, a successful garden, there's some tools that I must have in my arsenal in order to dig up some holes, because my hands are limited if I don't have the right tools and if I don't have the right resources. I can put the seed in the ground, but if I don't have the right soil, if I don't have the right knowledge in when to water the seed or how much water and how much sunlight to give my plants, then my garden won't be as successful. So many of us we are in the we have a garden, but tonight we're going to get the tools in order for our garden to grow and to bloom and to blossom. Amen. All right, take it away, Nicole.
Um, so I will do we start we want to start with budgeting, or do we go into
Let's start
taxes?
with, yeah,
Okay.
we can start with budgeting. We can start with how we have it laid out on our.
Okay.
So
Okay. So we'll go budgeting. So a lot of people, a lot of people, majority of people don't even have a budget, and they know. here's they know how much their paycheck is, but people don't know how much their expenses are. Because we like to just give a roundabout. I'll share mine. Years ago, I was like, I don't care about no budget. Like, and I was not stewarding what God had given me well, because I wasn't taking time to actually write down what was going out. And so I was like, oh, I should have, $500-600 left over. And I mean, some days I was in the negative, like, and I was trying to figure out where did I go wrong. So a lot of people, where they go wrong, they don't write anything down. We just, because of where we are today, and everything is tap. You just tap your phone. You just, just tapping away and swiping away, and we're not keeping track or record of how much money that we're spending. um and so that is probably the biggest thing for people. So writing down your monthly expenses. We all know, we know how much money our paycheck is, or we should at least know how much our paycheck is. Any income that is brought in, and you can simplify. You don't have to have the latest and greatest Excel spreadsheet, or the latest and greatest. You can just write it down on paper. You can go back old school with a notebook. Write down what your income is. Any money that you've received for the month, you write that down. And then all of your expenses. And the best way, where most people don't like to do, but pull your bank statement, because that's gonna tell you the truth. We'll be like, oh yeah, this, I think this how much this is, and I think this how much this is, but you miss something. And when you're playing with numbers, don't lie. So this is what it is every month. So if your mortgage, and then how much money that you're spending on food, calculate your food expense from the month before, just to see. Like, I was like putting a play number, because I was like, I know I'm not spending that much money eating out. But when you calculate it, I was spending a good amount of money on food, but in my budget I had only accounted for about $300. And I was like, I'm gonna stay with this $300 because we're gonna eat at home. But I was going over. And so, just like me, a lot of us do that, and we're like, we're not going to spend that much money. But write down your expenses. You have to be realistic. Otherwise, the budget doesn't writing down your expenses doesn't do anything for you. um Writing down your monthly, for your mortgage, for your utilities, all of your fixed expenses, and even for your variable expenses, and then any debt that you owe. You can keep it simple, in those categories, but write down what you owe. We must pay back the people that we took, that we borrowed from. We must pay those people back.
Yeah.
And so write those down, and actually look at the numbers on what we're spending. If I had to, give you guys a template, I would say your giving should be number one. So whatever your tithe is, we should not wait till the end, until we get to the bottom, to see how much is left over for us to tithe, because I know I was that way before, years and years ago. Because I was like, well, I don't have enough money to tithe. So I'm gonna give God what's left over, and but start with your tithe. Start there. So break it out into tithing, and then your living expenses, with your mortgage, your utilities, transportation, things like that. How much you want to save, if that is money that is left over to save. And then when we get there, you know investing. But the first two are probably the more critical. What we see, is tithe, and then your living expenses. And then you can incorporate, if you have money left over to shop, or you have to get something for your kids. But give them a budget as well. Skylar has a budget of $25 every month that I allocate for her. Now I know it's $50. So she has $50 that she has for the month, and she can do whatever she wants to do with that money. But it's like, okay, here's your money, and it's not. It's I've already accounted for her, because kids will go to the store and like, can I get this and can I get that with your money? And that way you stay within budget, to make sure that they have what they need.
And it also teaches them how to be responsible. And I just want to say this: when you are budgeting, budget round up. A lot of times it's like, oh, my light bill is $107.34, and we put $100 on the budget. That's wrong, because they're going to want their $7.34, and because you under budgeted, now you are out of budget at the end because you under budgeted. So the best thing to do would be to over budget, pad that bill, but under budget the income. So if you make $1,100.37, then you make 1137. You want to say, okay, I make about $1,100, or I make about $1,000. So you can undercut the income, but you have to overextend the debt part, the expense, so that you always remain within the budget. I love that you give Skylar allowance, and allow her to use that so that she learns at a young age how to use her money and find out what's important. A lot of times we just don't know what is important. We don't know the difference between a need, a want, and a desire. And at this age, she needs to know, okay, I want to buy my friend a gift, but do I need to buy my friend a gift, or do I simply desire to buy my friend a gift? And so this gives her the opportunity to see what is important versus what's not necessary. And if we can figure out those little things, I think we would go a little bit further. And then she also, now something that we have a hard time doing is telling ourselves no. Oh my gosh, when I have I'm gonna tell on me. When I have to tell me no, it's like, oh shucks, I gotta tell me no. I work, and I can't buy those. It's on sale, and I still gotta tell me no. And so if you give your kids an allowance, allow them. Now there's some things, now I tell Nicole, now don't have that baby buying soap, because shucks, now I'm
Put
called a
it on your
cripple.
list.
But if you want to go buy something, now you have to provide the necessities, but teach them the extras. You want to buy candy, you want to buy extra snacks, because I bought the household snacks. But now if you want to go buy some silly stuff and extra things, then that's what you spend your money on. If you want to go buy, we going out to get ice cream, then that's what you're spending your money on. And then and I love that Elder Nicole teaches her how to sometimes take mommy out, sometimes buy mommy's ice cream, sometimes buy mommy's Chick-fil-A, because I have to buy yours all the time. And so you teach them how to be generous, and you teach them how to budget, and how to prioritize what is necessary and what they can afford. These are things that I'm sure my kids didn't like it when they were growing up, but now that they are adults, they will probably instill it into their kids, because they work within their own budget. um After once we have budgeted, and we finally figure out, we got a handle on, okay, this is what I know my expenses are, this is how much I know my income is, what do I do if I get a raise, if I get increase? How do I handle those kinds of things? Or did you want to go to a different avenue?
No, we can stay here. So I would say, so for me personally, and this is just speaking from experience, when I've been on a job and I got a promotion, and I didn't go out and get the first, I need another $50,000 car, or now I'm going to buy me a house, or now I'm going to do something because that's going to increase my budget overall. One bag, okay, treat yourself on your promotion. But the things that that have that's a fixed expense that you won't just pay off over time, don't jump into it. Look and see, can you actually afford it? It goes back to writing down to see what you can afford. I I was looking at, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get me another car. My promotion, I was like, I just gotta have another Tesla. And I got to looking at my paperwork, and I probably could only afford to buy gas on a regular car. So I had to take back and say, no, I can't afford another vehicle. I just need to stick with what I have. Because we sometimes we get into it and it's like, well, you don't even know, you haven't even seen what the paycheck even look like yet, and we go out and buy something because they say, oh, he gave you $30,000, but you don't know how much taxes are coming out of that $30,000. You're not gonna see that on the front end. And so, again, making sure, one, writing it down, and then being financially responsible. I will say this: whenever I was going through my budget and looking at things, I started from scratch. I went down to the basics of what the needs. I literally went through and I was like, because you don't realize how much subscriptions, Netflix that you're paying, Hulu, Disney Plus, Paramount, all those things add up. Why they may be $5.99, $6.99, $7.99, but those things add up over time. And so I went down to the basics, and we went bare minimum for just a little bit, just so I can get things back in line. And then as I realize, okay, I can afford Disney Plus, or I can afford this, and I would add it back into the budget. Doesn't mean that it's gone forever, but I could add it back into it. um so I think that it's important not to make decisions, especially long-term decisions like big purchases, like going and getting a house or going and getting a car, or something that that you're gonna pay on for a while, because we, truth be told, a house nor a car is just a $200 or $300 payment. We're looking now, today, in today's times, minimum car notes are about $1,000, and that's if you have really good credit and get a good interest rate. And so you're looking at long term, 900, 1,000, $1,100 in car notes, and then adding on, even for homes. I mean, I went and looked, and I mean, they high, y'all. But you're looking at adding additional expense. So I would just say add it in. Once you get your promotion, or once you get the increase, put it in the savings account, and then you could decide later what you want to do with it. So if I wanted to go get the house, at least I have a down payment for the house. I've saved up enough money from whatever I had to now have a down payment, or I have extra funds saved up. So that would be my recommendation for, is put it in a savings account.
That's good. And we're going to talk about some different types of savings accounts. In the chat, someone said, "How do you find your subscriptions?" Because a lot of times, y'all ever been scrolling and someone it's like, subscription is 199, and they'll tell you that it's only for 1 month, and then it goes to 12.99. So there is an app called, I think, Albert, Albert, and it helps you find the subscriptions that you may have gotten into just coming out of your account. But also
Rocket is also another good one. Rocket
Rocket
Money.
Rocket
Rocket Money.
Money will help you
Yes.
find your subscriptions. But
Hmm.
if you comb through your bank statement, that is a foolproof way to identify what is coming out of your accounts. Subscriptions and fees are things that sneak attack us. Like if you have Apple Care, music, Pandora, all those things, they sneak attack you. And sometimes this is how I've had to manage, like for my credit cards and things like that. I put it on my calendar. And so on my calendar, a week before it is due is when I have it as an alert on my calendar, and then I it alerts 2 days after that. So that's two opportunities for me to make the payment for subscriptions and credit cards and things like that, so that I don't forget. Because a lot of times it's easy to forget, or you were busy when the alert came the first time, and then you now here you are paying them $30, $45 because you have a late fee. And so what I have done is put it on my calendar and then alerted myself 2 days after. I think you can do up to 2 or 3 alerts um on your calendar, so that you make sure that you make the payments. That's what has kept me from making payments Also, you want to make sure that if in the season where you can't afford a credit card, please don't get one, because like Elder Nicole said earlier, we have to pay it back. If we spent it, we want to be good stewards and pay it back. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Like, these are debts that we act and so we want to pray the model prayer, but we don't want to do the model prayer. So we just have to make sure that we're good stewards over everything that God has given us. And credit is something that we need. We can't there's people who really have good credit, and the people who don't have good credit, they're penalized for not having good credit. So it's like, I don't have good credit, but my bills are more expensive because I don't have the good credit. It's because someone is taking a chance to give me something on credit that I don't necessarily have not shown that I am responsible for according to um my credit score. And so someone has said, okay, this person is a risk. They're more risky. So I'm going to charge them more. Does it sound logical? No. You should be charged less, but because you seemingly don't have the money. But they say, okay, I'm gonna charge you more. And so we're being penalized for not having good credit. And so our aim is to make sure that we pay down these bills and increase our credit scores. Okay. I want us to ask questions tonight, whether it's about credit. I know Elder Nicole is going to get on budgets. Um if you would like to set up some time to talk with Elder Nicole about completing a budget for your particular expenses according to your income, she'll definitely take those. It's free, but we ask that you just give her a seed. Um, but there are things that we really need to get a handle on so that we're not always feeling like it's payday, but I'm choking already before payday comes. We want to be able to live in a way that, okay, it's payday. Okay, I know these are my bills. This is how much I'll have left over. I either can or can't. I can do this or I can't do this, and I have to wait till the next time. And this is what I have in savings. And I'm not allowing my income or my bills, or if something happens, to choke the life out of me. I won't allow that to make me more anxious, because either I have it or I don't. And that's why I have the thought process. It's just money. Either I have it or I don't. Why? Because I understand this is how much my bills are. This is how much income I have. And either I have the money or I don't. But I'm not going to let it to have rule over me. I'm going to have rule over it. Okay?
Yes.
Jesus paid it all, but some of us, we that ain't, you can't call Atmos and tell them that.
Don't try. They want their money.
Okay. I wanted to talk about taxes. We're in tax season, and in when we are in tax season, quite a few people in our demographics get some kind of tax refund. A great amount of people, not everybody, in our demographics get a tax refund. Why do I say in our demographics? Many of us in our demographics are still in childbearing ages. And so we still have kids under the age of 18, or we have kids in college, or we're in under the earned income credit threshold, where we still have the EIC that we give earned income child tax credit for those children. A lot of people in our demographics own homes, so that's something that will yield um, a tax refund. And a lot of us don't make six figures, and so because of that, a lot of us earn a tax refund. Now, there are some people who have all of that and still don't earn a tax refund, and we want to talk to you guys about how to increase your tax return, how to legally increase what you get back from the government for your tax refund. And so there's some ways, there's some things that we can do in order for us to take full advantage of tax breaks. And we want to talk about that today. Now, I'm looking at the chat. Please put your questions there. We want to take this time to answer questions as they come up. If I don't answer your question, put it in there again. I just want to make sure that we utilize our time properly. Can you explain taxes in very simple terms to us tonight?
Yes. So taxes. So if you are, of course, if you're W-2 employee, um, then you know your taxes automatically come out of your paycheck. You can select to pay them now, or you can exempt yourself on your W-4. It all depends on how you fill out your W-4. That is very, very important. I've had people come to me and they're like, why do I owe? Oh my gosh. Well, you didn't have enough taxes taken out, or you didn't fill out the form properly. They've simplified the form. Now, whenever you go fill out your W-4, either you want your money up front or you pay it. You pay it back later. But some way the IRS is going to get their money. So please, please make sure that you fill those out properly if you are a W-2 employee, because it's not fun, if you're not. And then, um, so so I would say where Pastor Tamica is going with this is that everybody on here, everybody in VOCM, everybody that's watching, everybody should have a business. Everybody. If you just because you are a W-2 employee, there is no tax benefit as for you. There's no right. You don't get to write off anything as a W-2 employee, because you can't say, "Oh, well, I need to claim my mileage because my job made me drive." Not if you're a W-2 employee. You should have went to them and asked them for your mileage reimbursement check. And they'll incorporate that, but on your taxes you don't get that write off. So I encourage and I push and I strongly push for everybody to have some sort of business to help, because it's not that you don't pay taxes as a business owner, but there are write-offs that you get when you are a business owner. So if you owe 50,000 to the I to you made 50,000, I'm sorry, you made $50,000, but you had $5,000 in deductions, they're only going to tax the 45,000. And so it's not like, oh, I get to write off this and this exact amount of money. No, you get to it's about how much the IRS is going to tax from your taxable income. And so you want to make sure that um that you have the business. You can write off. First, let's go back. Start with the business. If there's something as small, you can do hair, catering, whatever it is that you're good at, cleaning. It could be an online store. It could be taxes, social media services, whatever it is that you're good at, whatever that you thrive in, whatever it is. Even turn your hobby into your business, because at the end of the year the write-offs are much greater than just being a W-2 employee. I many years ago, probably in 2020, during the pandemic, I had a cleaning business, and the money that I made on the side that I made, it was just like it was just play money. I was just doing whatever I wanted to with that money. The money was good that was coming in, and at the end of the year, I was able to write off everything that I had to purchase. With the business. So if it was cleaning supplies, or if it was I had to put an ad out, or I had to drive to a client's house, I wrote off everything, the gas that I spent to go to a client's house. There's so many write-offs.
The supplies that were used to clean, what
Mhm.
was written off, the utility bills that you use in order to write up their invoices, all of the invoicing platforms that you may have paid the subscriptions to. Those are things that you can write off. You
Yeah.
can write off almost every expense that is utilized for your business, your side business, your hobby business. Now, what you do is you claim the income because we made money. However, you're going to use all of those deductions to lower the amount of money that the government tax for the income that you receive for said business. And the deduction are across the board. So you have your regular job, you have your hobby or your side business, your entrepreneurial business. And what happens is the deductions knock off the amount that you now say that you owe the government, so that lessens your taxable income because you have these deductions because you gave a service or a product to consumers. Does that make sense? If y'all was there, I'm sure y'all shaking y'all heads. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So like I said, deductions lower the amount of money the government can tax you because they say, okay, you offer this service or this product, so it takes money to do all these things, it takes resources to do all these things, so although you made money, we're going to be lenient for the taxes that you would have paid in order to do all these things. And so so she said, if I had to pay for parking for a speaking engagement, I could write that under my business. Yes. A lot of people, I'm going to do another segment with Pastor Krishan as an entrepreneur. There are so many things that full-time entrepreneurs can also write off. You can write off vehicles. Um, you
You can write off your, if you had to, whoever in the comments about the parking, you can even write off if you had to pick up lunch on your way to the speaking engagement. You can write
the
that off.
receipts.
Your receipt of just like, well, I had to travel for this, and that is your. So if you had to do that every day, you could write off your lunch every single day, for whatever you're doing.
If you took your clothes to the dry cleaners, your dry cleaner expenses. If you have to get your nails done, your hair done because of public speaking, you can write those expenses off because those are things that help attribute to you being able to do your business, your full-time entrepreneur endeavor. And because you're not a W-2 employee, meaning somebody else is not taking these tax benefits, so our jobs are taking these tax benefits, and others, they're having their separate write-off. So being a sole W-2 does not allow you to write these things off, but being a 1099 does, or
Yeah.
having to separately claim I received income and these are the things that I need in order for me to be able to run this business. And so paper products, me being a baker, when I bought my KitchenAid, I was able to write that off for tax purposes. Some of my mileage, if I have to do like deliveries and things of that nature, I'm able to write some of those things off. Courses that I take, I'm able to write those things off. And because I work
Butter,
all
butter and sugar.
butter, sugar, and eggs, I'm able to write some of those the taxes off of on some of those things because in order for me to do what I do, these are things that I need. So
If you have a biz.
now that is a personal, Christina, that's a personal preference. A lot of times people don't like to make quarterly payments. One, because that means you have to be responsible to keep up with those quarterly payments. And a lot of times people like to receive a lot their money throughout the year. And so because they like to receive their money throughout the year, they don't make they don't take that money out. But it just depends on you, your responsibility, how responsible you are, and how often you want to give the money back. I'll leave it as that.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Pastor Krishan.
Perfect.
Yes, and so I would have invited. I didn't get a chance. Elder Nicole knew about doing this live last night, and I just didn't want to swing that on Pastor Krishan to join the live with us tonight to talk about the other larger things that you can write off, like vehicles. Pastor Elder Nicole can. When I first bought my truck, my SUV, we took advantage of that tax benefit. You can only do it once
Mhm.
when you first purchase your vehicle, and so I was able to take advantage of that tax write off when I first bought my vehicle. But okay, go ahead.
No, I mean this is good. It's just there's just so many different things that people just don't know, even like with your cell phone and your tolls. You can write off your car
Oh,
insurance. You're required to have car insurance. And if you say, like, there's some people that you say, I don't have anything, I don't do anything. You can, even if you do Uber, because that Uber or Lyft or Favor, DoorDash, those are all 1099s that are already established. If you just want to go and still work under somebody but still want to be a 1099, there's still write-offs that you can receive for that. And I definitely advise to do that. I see Bree's question: how do you purchase something, car, house, in your business name? Well, so that is a little bit more. Um, so you have to depends on how much business and how, like, if you have a credit card, because you have to build business credit. You can't walk to, I don't know, Chevrolet or BMW and say, hey, I want to put this in my business name, and you have no history, nothing built up. And so you have to establish, of course, with your LLC, start a bank account, start out small, getting a credit card with your bank, um, and building up, and then you're building credit. You're showing them that I have the money, and you guys can trust me with this. So, Bree, I would say that that is something that you can definitely work towards, but you must establish those things first, with in everything in your business account. So if you have a bank account, put it in your business name and apply for the credit card, and they may only approve you for $200, $300, because they don't know you. And build up, and put things on that card, pay it off, and then you can increase. And then when you go to the car lot, or when you go for a house, you can apply for that. Um,
we can do a segment on building business credit.
it's not easy.
It's not it's not difficult. However, it's also not as easy as it used to be, because during I think the just different uh presidential
Yes,
yep, things, the rules and guidelines have kind of strict bleh, gotten a little bit more strict. But we can teach you how to legally structure an LLC for um yeah, building
that's
business credit.
Pastor Krishan's lane. She'll be
Yeah.
on the next
That is
time.
we in Pastor Krishan's
Yeah,
lane, and yeah, we
yeah. Put on next
yeah,
time.
she'll be here next time. Because it's not difficult, but there are clear cut things that you must do so that the IRS is not knocking on your door, and so that you get approved. So it definitely can be done, but you have to be structured properly in order to do those things.
Yeah. Um, I saw Overseer's question. Yes, you can write off your tolls. Um, yes, you can write off your tolls. Christina, I saw your question about, is it best to do it all in December? It really doesn't matter. Just as long as you do it before the end of the year. because it's all gonna be lumped up into one. If if you go out and buy something excessive, I mean, sure, it's just gonna increase for your for your write off, but it's not. You don't have to go and run and do it in December at the end. I will speak to another thing that if we have time, just like regarding tithes, tithes and offerings. So a lot of people come and like, don't forget to pull my tithe estate. But if you made I'm gonna just go $40,000 and you gave right at let's say you gave $4,000, or you gave, let's even go even lower, you only gave $2,000, it's not gonna do anything. I just want to put that out there. I know we say, make sure to get your tithing statement, make sure to get your tithing statement. But you have to you have to be a giver to for it to affect your taxes. I just don't want people to think, oh, they didn't, it didn't change anything when they put in my $300, $300 that I gave to the church, and I thought I was gonna get something back because I gave $300 to the church. Well, no, if you make 40,000, you only gave the church 300. There's no write off there. I mean, there's no benefit there. Um, and so, but if you gave, if you had 40,000 and you gave 10,000 of it away, to the church, yes, there's a write off there. You've given more than 10% of your income.
Do you know how to set a trust over your LLC? Um,
This.
that would be my lane. Yes. Yes, you need to get a fiduciary. You can do a fiduciary or a personal, um either a personal fiduciary over your LLC. It's just a matter of having the proper documentation to make your LLC flow into a trust. I'm assuming that's what you mean. You want to have your business structured inside of a trust, because all of these are just tax vehicles. So a trust is just so that when the person this is deceased, the trust rules how the money goes or where the money goes, and it's all for tax purposes. Or the document of the trust controls um basically how their money is run after they're gone. And so you just have to find um who a trusted individual and a trusted fiduciary to hold that trust vehicle, that um and so you can do a bank, you could do a person, but it's all in how you structure it legally. It's just the documentation that you want to make sure that you have structured properly. Um, you could do it personally and just go through an attorney who is familiar with trust deeds and estates. That's probably the easier way to do it. It also depends on the amount of money that you're trying to control. I hope that makes sense. I want to go back. There was a question that said, Christina mentioned about purchasing in December. A lot of people say to purchase large products or like vehicles and things in December, because they're trying to get rid of it. Like cars, they're trying to get ready for the next shipment, or they're more lenient on getting those things out of the door, just so that their finances can look better for 12/31, or the close of the fiscal year. I'm sorry, of the calendar year. So that's probably where that terminology or that thought process came from, purchasing large purchases in December. But I just want to say this, a lot of places have already structured and taken into account the inventory. So like it kind of, mom and pop places, yes, or smaller entities, yes. But if you're trying to go to Mercedes thinking they just gonna give you something, probably not, because they've already taken into account the inventory prior to 12/31 or December. They're not just waiting to the last minute to structure their they're not waiting to last minute to kind of finalize their finances. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope that made sense. A lot of things I want to say right, because one word off and it could steer everybody wrong. And so and then I don't want to talk over anybody's head. Between myself and Elder Nicole, there's probably 30 years of financial acumen between the two of us. Um, I've only been in finance my entire life. And I'm a little bit mature. And Elder Nicole has a long history of being in finances in different divisions. And so we may sound like we're going slow with our words, but we want to make sure that it's not over your head and it's something that we're not going to say something and you think or you understand it one way, but we meant it a different way. And so that is probably why we kind of are choosing the right words to say at the right time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we want you guys to get the basics because there's so much more. There's so much more that I would, love to unpack and share. But if we don't get the basics, then you won't be able to, to do all the other things that, when it's like investments and, high, savings, all that stuff. It doesn't matter if we don't get the basics of, our taxes. We deal with that every single year. We deal with that every day, every time we get a paycheck, and then with budgeting. And so the foundation is important to get down first, and then all the other things, you know, will be will come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any more questions? It doesn't matter where you pull your question from. It could be something that we've talked about or something. All right. Okay, overseer.
What are some ways we can save money? So, we could kind of tag team it, but I'll say for me, in the economy, food is high. Food is high. A lot of us, me, I eat out a lot. And so cutting back and going to the grocery store, so where I may spend a little extra money in the grocery store, but if I go back, I buy a bag from Chick-fil-A, something that Skylar and I eat often, and I'll go and get a $17 $18 bag of the Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets from Costco, and we eat those, and it stretches, much more. um and then also, and then do things with your friends. If it's like, hey, I've cooked, and we're gonna put our food together, and or 2 days out the week, and then 2 days out the week they cook, because it's just so expensive. As grocery prices are increasing, it's also increasing for the restaurants as well, because they're buying their food as well there. If you say it's just me, I don't it's just one me, you may not have to, that may not be an area of where you can cut back, but but gas prices, if you could carpool, and with some of the things we just have to go back. I don't want to get in the car with nobody else. But you may have to. There's like at my job, they have like a carpooling thing where they have parking spaces for people who carpool, who all join together, and they cut the cost of some things, or just again, look at really going through your budget and reducing some things, because some things are not, they're a luxury item. I had cleaners for a little bit, and I was like, this is a luxury item for me. Some people it's a necessity, but for me it was a luxury thing, and so I had to cut that out. And I was like, okay, let me
What'd you
let
cut
me
out?
the cleaning service. I, I can clean my own house. I'm gonna pick up this dustpan and this vacuum, and I'm gonna, put Skylar to work. There's just some things that I could cut out. And when I looked at it, even with and I told y'all before, I really did go from a clean slate. We were bare minimum. So even like Netflix and seeing how much money that you're sending out every month. Rocket was good because they let me know, hey, your Hulu just increased from $8 to now $15. And I said, hold on, now I had to cut Hulu because why am I paying $15 for Hulu and Disney Plus? Like, no. So I went ahead and cut that out. But those small things add up. Those small things add up over time. DoorDash is expensive. They're gonna charge you for every fee. Uber Eats, cut some of those things out and have them at the house. One of the biggest things, like Skylar likes these drinks, and so we buy them at the grocery store in 6 packs or in a 12 pack, because if we go to the convenience store, they're gonna charge us $3 or $4 for that one drink when we can just get them at the grocery store. And you have it at home. We have food at the house. That is my motto here. We got food at the house. So every snack that she has, that's just one way. Pastor Tamika.
So, I don't like leftovers a lot.
Thank you.
So,
She got a different remedy for y'all. She got a different solution.
I buy kids meals because if I have to pack that up and bring it home and then warm it up, I'm probably not. It just don't taste the same when I get it home. And so now there are some things that I will eat, but I just don't prefer leftovers at all. And so if I cook, just know that everybody's coming to eat that because it can't stay here. So it was cook in smaller portions.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to go buy 2 pieces of meat out the store and cook that up, or one, or cut things. I just seen this recipe. I wanted a pork chop so bad. And I know I wasn't gonna eat no whole pork chop, but then I saw that they cut it and they made it like pork chop bites. And so I took one pork chop, made it into pork chop bites because I'm not going to eat all of that, and I'm not going to eat it left over either. So just cooking in smaller portions, and when you do go out to eat, share a meal with someone, because we
Mm-hmm.
probably not just gonna not go out to eat. Let's be real. We're not just gonna not go out to eat. We got to be real with ourselves. I don't want to lie to me and y'all, so we ain't lying at all. How about that? Just buy kids meal, share a meal with somebody. I found myself like eat the snacks that you have at home. I buy snacks, and so I eat chips and meat, protein. And so sometimes we just need to eat, and it's not like you don't need lamb chops, you just need to eat something. And so I found that if I just eat what I have at home, I'm saving money. um to get over on Starbucks or the big coffee places, I bought a Keurig because I like the taste of espresso. And so, yes, the Keurig was a couple of $100. The pods are expensive, but I'm not paying the amount of money that I would pay to go to the Starbucks or the whatever, the Dutch Bros. I buy flavored creamer. I buy flavored syrup because that's the reason that we go pay all that money for those drinks, is because they taste good. And so buy what tastes good at home. And so you may spend a little bit more upfront, but it lasts more than a day. It's now lasting a month in order for me to take advantage of, that purchase. Another thing that I do, I shop at Shein. Um, I shop my clothes are very inexpensive. My shoes may not be, but my clothes are very inexpensive. Why? Because 9 times out of 10, I'm probably only going to wear them a couple of times anyway. Like some things you don't wear often. Some things you wear, like jeans. You wear your jeans often. You may wear your sweats often, but things that don't wear but once every blue moon, it's like, why spend that kind of money on it? And so when I do shop, I shop at Shein. The dress I had on Sunday, It was maybe $14 from Shein. So I don't spend a lot of money on my clothes. I may go back to doing my own hair. Maybe I like my stylist, but those are some things. Before, when I could not afford it, I did my own hair. I took my time on YouTube to figure out. I bought uh what you call them things, shavers,
Clippers.
razor, about, and all the things to do my own hair. And I took time to do my own hair. And in one season, I did my own nails. I did my own pedicures. Why? Because when I go out the door, it costs to breathe, it seems. And so these are things that I did to save money. And it also it helped me to fall in love with me. It helped me to spend time with me. And so those are some things that I do to save. After you finish with your budget and you have whatever left over, throw that money into a savings account and start all over the next month. That's how you can build your savings. That's how you can kind of say, okay, I'm saving for something, and always have something that you're saving for. When we don't have goals, when we don't have things to look forward to, we perish because we'll have nothing. We'll have, our hope is not built into anything. It's not looking forward to anything. And so we tend to give up and we splurge and we just ball out of control because we don't have anything we're saving towards. Save towards a vacation. Put some money towards new bedding. Put some money towards something so that you have a goal in mind. And when you have a goal in mind, you have more temperance. You have the ability to say no when you have an extra $50, because no, because if I can tell myself no today for my hope and my longing for tomorrow to go on my vacation or to do something, then it's easy to say no today so that I can be, it's the gratification of later. It's the gratification of, I said no today just so that I can do something better and greater tomorrow. I hope that makes sense. Other ways that you can save, like Elder Nicole said, have community meals, communal meals. Um, Once a week or once a month, go to somebody's house and y'all just have a good time. One, it builds camaraderie, it helps you with memories, and it builds friendships, and then y'all sharing meals. And so that's less money that you got to spend to eat at least that day. And if you like leftovers the next day, so you can make sure that I will never stop telling the story of how Pastor Krishan and I survived growing up. Our kids were young. We survived together. We did everything together. Our children's birthday parties were together. We, on weekends, we all put our food together so that we just did, everybody didn't have meat, everybody didn't have the everything. And so we did a lot of things together as young people, and that's how we build bonds, that's how we build friendships, that's how we're all friends today. We can call these people today because in times when we didn't have, we decided to not be big eyes and little U's. We just realized that we all wanted to put it together, and we were able to lean and depend on one another. And we got through life together, whatever issues we were having. And a lot of us were married, some people were single, but we got through things together. We never there was not a time when anybody had to celebrate or do anything alone, because like I can't stress two are better than one, because it will definitely help you to get through life when you have somebody to help you get through life with. I think we are past our time. Like, I'm so sorry. um okay.
Yes. And
um
can I say one more thing?
Please
Sorry.
save me.
So I didn't think about it, but also a little bit more practical with, I know, like those, food and stuff, but also you can call, like I was looking at getting my interest rate on my car taken down, and I was like, I need to, some got to give because my car interest rate was high. And so I called the bank and I was just like, hey, I'm gonna go over here. And they were like, we'll give you a one-time reduction of your interest rate. That was with UFCU. So if UFCU, call them. But that is one way that you can lower your interest rate without having to. I didn't have to completely refinance. If you know that your home is, like, when you got it, it was high and now interest rates are dropping, that is a way to save. I even called Spectrum. I told y'all I was on a tangent to lower my bottom line, and I called Spectrum, and because every month it was just going up, and I'm like, hey, I only pay for internet, and I'm at almost $100 a month for just internet, and I was fed up with Spectrum, and I talked to somebody, and they got my bill back down to $50 a month. So my internet now is only $50 a month. So there are things that you can do. You can call your credit card companies to work with them just to see if you can get your interest rate. It doesn't always work, or to have some fees or some things removed. But those are some things that you can do to try to help lower some of your costs. Now, you can't call your electric company and ask them to lower anything, but when it is time, you don't have to just always stay with TXU.
Mhm.
You can shop around for different rates, because you can get a lower rate whenever it's time, once you're done with your contract. But make sure to do your homework before, to be able to bring things down. That's all I wanted to say.
Definitely with the AT&T and those,
And
because
your discounts.
they realize that they're
Yep.
not needed. It's those are discretionary bills. And so
Yep.
they will work with you. I remember calling and I got this one lady and she said, "Ma'am, you've had this same grandfathered account so long." She said, "You're paying way more than necessary." When she got finished reducing my bill, it was in a third. I pay a third of what I was originally paying
Wow.
because we these are just things that we don't
We
think
don't
of.
know.
We don't think of
Yeah.
these kinds of things.
Yeah.
Um, I know the every time we do one of these, Christina 2, 3, and 4 is it's a
It's
stretch.
far.
But people always talk about should I rent versus own? And I do want to talk about that just very, very, very briefly. When you talk about owning a home, you are talking about one legacy and you're talking about a guaranteed tax break every time you file your taxes. Why? Because when you pay your mortgage payment, you're paying principal and interest. And the interest is the amount that you can write off, or it takes a deduction, a portion of that off of your tax, your for
Yeah.
tax benefits. And
Yeah.
so when I understand the expenses, you don't have a landlord to come fix things anymore, and I know in some seasons you really do need that. However, if we are diligent with our spending, if we actually take everything that Elder Nicole and I discussed tonight, meaning you're budgeting, you're living within your means, you are putting all these principles to work, the money that you save throughout the year, if something breaks down, that's where you pull from. That's where you pull from to fix your plumbing. That's where you pull from to fix your garage door. That's the resources that you pull from because you've saved. Now, when you first buy a house, it's not just automatically gonna break down. And that's a lie from the pits of hell. It's not
Yeah.
just gonna just you bought it today and it's breaking down, tearing down tomorrow. No, you want to make sure that we are not always in the seat to have to pay for somebody else's house. The house that you're living in, you paying for somebody else to have a tax break. So we want to make sure that we become the lender and not always the borrower.
Yeah.
Okay? And I believe that everybody under the sound of my voice, if we buckle down, that this can be the best year of our lives. We can have the savings. We can We can not have to worry about borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. You may have to work two jobs, and there's nothing wrong with that. Overseer works. She teach us, right? She's a full-time pastor, she's a full-time employee, and then she has her side businesses. So that means if our overseer can have four jobs and still be okay, we can too. But our job may look different from hers, right? Our job may not look like our extra income. The way we get our extra income may not look like somebody else's way of getting extra income. And if I can't stress to you guys anything else, go for the better job. Go for the promotion. It may not look like on paper that you qualify, but go for it anyway. The worst they can do is tell you no. You deserve to make more money. I told y'all, money is headed your way, but God is giving strategies tonight in order to get it. And it's not just going to drop in our lap unless you know somebody passed and you and they trust and they see we ain't got it. But you ain't, that's not the only way to get money. Okay. I want
Yeah.
us to know that money is headed our way. And if there's some things that we can do, take up some Uber. Listen, when we got from TSA, none of us parked at the airport. Lord have mercy. And normally we do. So we didn't park at the airport and we had to get an Uber. The Uber was $100. That means somebody, now they ain't make the whole $100 because you know their fees and all those things. But even if they made $50, and then they made at least $50 for 30 minutes of driving us from the airport to our homes, which is absolutely asinine. That means that's money that you could be making. That means if you set aside a couple of hours a day or a couple of hours out of the week, that you could not only be making more income, but then at the end of the year, there are tax benefits that you could be taking advantage of just for a few hours of inconvenience. And guess what? While you in your Uber, you could be listening to a sermon. While you in your Uber, you could be listening to a book. While you in your Uber, you could be praying. While you're Ubering or doing whatever whatever the platform is, not only are you making money, but you could be helping bless somebody else because you never know who you're going to meet who needs to know your testimony. You never know who you're going to meet to know some wisdom that you may have. There are ways to make money. We just have to be inconvenient for a little bit so that we can get to the goal that we have in mind. If we don't set goals for ourselves, we'll never have more. We'll never have what God said that we could have because we just don't want to be inconvenienced. I love y'all. I'm sorry. Come on, Renee. Y'all see Renee comment? Go like Renee comment. Go find Renee comment and like it. Everybody, go find Renee's baby. Go find Renee's comment and like it. Listen, y'all. Thank you, Renee. Y'all see, I ain't see nobody like Renee comment. Y'all don't see it yet? Is it only on my
Oh,
paper?
we
You
don't
see
see
Renee
it.
comment? Y'all don't see it yet.
I don't.
You don't see it.
Wow, I see it now. 10,000. Come on. Yeah, it's money to be made out there.
Just from Ubering.
Wow.
$10,000 in a year just from Ubering. Uber paid off her car. We gonna have to be inconvenient. We may have to be inconvenient, but there are ways to get more income. There are ways to be able to be blessed. And like Pastor Krishan said, rich people aren't just sitting around doing nothing. Amen. All right.
Amen.
Thank you, Elder Diantha. I needed y'all to see that we can. Okay. All right, I think I'm done. I love y'all so much. Nobody else put any more questions in there. Make your meetings with Pastor. I'm sorry, Elder Nicole. She'll help you with your taxes. If you need to amend your taxes, that you can amend your taxes if you've already processed it and filed it and all of that, and you feel that it was processed without you having this knowledge, you can amend it. We will get Pastor Krishan on to talk about how to structure a business and being a full-time entrepreneur. I'll let her tell her testimony, but Pastor Krishan is not shy to full-time entrepreneur. She works now, but there was a season in her life. If there is anything that can be done to make money, she and her family have the gift, not just skill, but they're gifted in coming up with ideas that sell. They are gifted with ideas that for entrepreneurship, not only her, but her entire family have the ability. Her mama's, I can't even tell y'all all the things. I'll let her tell her testimony, but their family is gifted with ideas. God gives them, when the Bible says God will give you ideas to create wealth, that is on her life and her family's life. They walk in that heavily, and they will never be broke because they have the ability of, they have the gift of entrepreneurship on their life. I that yeah. So we'll have her to do it. I had to amend mine years ago too, and I got a nice return because I was not equipped with this information, and God allowed me to meet someone that gave me this information, and I was able to amend my tax return, and I got a nice because I was end up owing. I kept owing, and I said, God, why do I had kids and I still owed? So I'm not telling y'all nothing that I don't know. I'm telling y'all what I've lived. Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all see Pastor Sean's, I love to birth a good vision. Amen. I want
Amen.
y'all to sew into this. Can we put the giving information on? Yes.
Yeah.
I want us to sow $26 because 26 is our year. 2026 is our year for God to blow our mind. Money is headed our way. March, I believe is just the door. I believe, but that we are going to be able to walk into some wealth this year that we did not know that we could put our hands on.
Yeah.
You ain't got to believe me, but I want you to believe God. If you go back and listen to Overseer's teachings for the month of March, each Thursday, she has talked on finances. She has given biblical instructions on finances. We did myself and Elder Nicole did practicality of finances, but she did the spiritual and some practicalities of finances. And I want you to go back and watch those, comment on them, let her know that you went back to watch those Victory Hour of Power from the last few Thursdays, not last Thursday because we were at TSA, but Thursdays before that. And she gave some great nuggets. I'm gonna come up with a list on how to save for Christmas, and I'll put it in the VLCM group. There's some notes and some things that I just didn't get to that I like to give on how to save money. But I want us to all give. Put in your heart to give $26 tonight. If this isn't for those who have sown, tithe, and offered, the $26 tonight is going to open up heaven for you to be able to have money headed your way. Not because I said it, but because heaven declared it over your life. I love y'all. I'll see y'all on Sunday for our man power. Bring your uncle, cousin, granddaddy, uncle. Yes. Manifest Sunday, and we're having a special guest, Pastor Eric Jones. The men will be light lunch will be served after service on Sunday for all men. I want y'all to come out. You don't have to be a man to come. Pastor Jones is going to preach us happy, and I am looking forward to it. So please come on Sunday. Don't stay at home. I don't care if it rains, sleet, snow, whatever. Just come on and be a part of service on Sunday. Thank you, Elder Nicole, for being our special guest tonight. It won't be the last time. Thank you for tag teaming with me. Thank you for teaching us tonight. I believe that we are greater because you decide to pour into us. Thank you so much. Have a great night, everybody.